morning, Marco Island. This is the Good Morning Marco podcast, Marco Island's first, best, and only podcast. My name is Ryan Sullivan.
I'm Jordan Kraley.
And today we have a very special guest.
Heath Jarvis.
Perfect. I'm glad that we got the energy exactly where it needed to go immedially.
I just figured we were, elongating all of our vowels.
I think we are. Wow, it feels so cool being on this side of things right now.
Yeah.
So people have heard a little bit about what I do as my day job, but I'll let you introduce what today's episode is all about, Pastor Heath. What are we talking about today?
I believe today we are going to be talking about Faith Church, which is your employer and my employer, and also
weird.
one of the greatest churches in Southwest Florida. So we're going to talk about that today.
Cool, absolutely. So stay strapped in. We're going to have a phenomenal time today. Before we get to anything else, I do want to mention that this is a sponsored episode of the podcast, so we're going to take it to future Ryan to tell you all about that. Take a look. This episode of Good Morning Marco is brought to you by Tyler Buchan of the Golf Group. Located right here on Marco Island, they're your go-to experts for luxury living on Marco Island and beyond. Whether you're looking for a waterfront home with golf access, a condo with stunning beach views, or a private retreat down on Hideaway Beach, Tyler and his team will guide you to your home. Visit thegolfgroup.com to start your search today, or call 239-420-1099. Once again, that number is 239-420-1099. Go to thegolfgroup.com to find out more. Thank you so much to Tyler and his team for sponsoring this episode of Good Morning Marco. All right, so with that, how we generally start a lot of our episodes is we do a little bit of an elevator pitch. So since this episode is first and foremost about Faith Church, I'll let you do a bit of an elevator pitch about what is Faith Church, what is our dreams, visions, and goals.
All right.
And for someone who maybe in Southwest Florida has never been to a church, hasn't been to a church recently, or has just never heard of Faith Church, or doesn't know much past our sign, I guess, would be the place to start.
Okay. Well, Faith Church has been around for a little over 3 years now, and it was founded by Pastor André Roebert. André Roebert is a man from South Africa who has a huge worldwide ministry. He has a very large church in South Africa that he started back in the 90s. And they got a huge facility there, 11,000-seat sanctuary. He also runs 3 Christian television networks, and their United States network is actually based on Marco Island, Faith Broadcasting Network. And so they've been here for several years. They started the church in December of 2021, so a little over 3 years ago. And then also, I started a church in 2018, and in May of this past year, my church merged with Faith Church, and so my church was called Faith Life Worship Center, and Faith Life merged with Faith Church to become a bigger version of Faith Church. And we are here at 6070 Collier Boulevard in Naples, just north of Marco Island, just up the road just a few miles, just south of the Walmart that's on Collier, south of 41. And we are in the huge outlet mall that is mainly empty. But we bought the northernmost building here, and that's where our facility is. In fact, that's where we are recording from right now.
Yes. So I want to say a little bit as well. I started work, it was December 19th, 2021 was our first service here. I've been working here for 4 years now, as of literally, at the time of recording this, 4 years in 1 week.
Okay.
But the time of upload, 4 years and a month. So that'll give you a little hint as to when we're recording this. But it's been,
We can just go ahead and tell them. We are recording this on St. Patrick's Day.
on St. Patrick's Day.
Which
so
is-
our Patty Murphy's episode came out
That's
this
why
week.
I'm in green and why you're in green.
Yeah.
I didn't get the green memo.
Yeah, as did no one on the Faith
Which,
Day
by the way,
program
you're
today.
supposed to pinch her because she didn't wear green.
That is true.
That's
It's-
the thing. There you go. All right.
The comeuppance.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Now justice has been
didn't know
served.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, since this does come out a little closer to Easter, what are you guys doing for Faith Church for Easter?
For Easter, we're having a huge kids Easter Fest. It's going to be a huge event. We're going to have our regular Sunday morning church service, which our Sunday morning services are very power-packed. I mean, we have great contemporary praise and worship, great preaching, but it's not just good worship and good preaching and good music and all of that, and that's great, but there's also a great sense of connection here. There's a great sense of family here. This is not just a place that we come and spend a little time on Sunday mornings. This place is a family, and we're very tight-knit here, but we're always looking to grow the family, so that's a very important thing. But on Easter, we're going to have our normal Sunday morning service, and then afterwards, in the parking lot, we're going to have a huge event for kids. We're going to have bounce houses. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have games. We're going to have a big artificial turf out in the parking lot. We're going to drop, I believe they said 2,500 Easter eggs are going to be dropped from the roof of our building.
Compared to last year, we dropped about 600 Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So if you happened to see any of the videos from last year, or you happened to be here last year, goodness, it's going to be bigger and better than before. So yeah, it's.
Well, I'm going to do Ryan a little favor here.
What?
Future, you
No.
get to edit in that video because I want to see that as well.
Okay. There. All right. As you were.
Thank you, future Ryan.
You're welcome.
So,
Past Heath.
Past Heath. And that's funny because they call me Pastor Heath because I am one of the lead pastors here at Faith Church. But yeah, the Easter Fest is going to be a wonderful time. We had a lot of families here last year. The bounce houses are going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be face painting. There's going to be food, games, all the eggs, and then, of course, candy, because you got to have candy for Easter. So we're anticipating a very large turnout, just like we had last year, which was a great time. It's going to start, we're going to open the doors at 9 a.m. The church service will start at 10 a.m., and then all of the Easter Fest activities are going to be right after the church service. So we have an awesome children's ministry here, very dynamic children's ministry. And so we recommend that people get here early so that you can register. Speaking of registering, when you do register for the day, your name is going to be entered in a drawing for some giveaways. And I believe we are giving away...
I know we're giving away an iPad.
An iPad.
I know we're giving away an iPad, and then for the kids, I believe we're giving away 2 bicycles, one for a boy, one for a girl.
A boy's bike and a girl's
and then
bike.
other smaller things as well, like some gift cards and some other stuff like that.
Yep.
So it should be, if there's any, there's a lot of people who will only come to church on Christmas and Easter, and if you needed any extra push, we've got it in plethoras here. So yeah.
It's going to be an awesome time. Some people refer to me as the rapping pastor. In fact,
Okay, and I'm excited that we're getting to this already.
one of the ways that Pastor André found me in the first place was that I had done a couple of raps in our church. This is before our church merged with Faith Church. I had done a couple of raps, and a few of them went viral on Instagram and on YouTube. And so one of those raps caught Pastor André's attention, and he says, "Man, I've got to meet you. I got to see what you're all about." And so we struck up a friendship immediately. He loved the fact that I was not afraid to step outside the box and do something creative, do something that people hadn't done before. Because, I mean, how often do you see a 50-year-old white guy rapping in church?
And doing it well. No matter, because you immediately hear it and you think it's going to be very hokey, but it's not. So it's actually we've got the we've got the pastoral Eminem over here.
So I must ask, when does the album drop?
Well, actually, I'm working on an album right now. I'm actually in the middle of doing that.
I have the thumbnail for the trailer rap. Here,
rap.
get that pistol. Maybe I'll do a little teaser of this, or I'll put the reel from when Pastor A first found you.
Yeah,
Which future Ryan, boy, this is going to be a lot of problems for future Ryan this episode. Take a look.
Don't go telling me what I can't do. I can do all things, all this and that too. I am confident and competent. My ability is heaven sent, and what he's given me is not for rent. I take ownership of everything he wants me to have. If he didn't, then he never would have paid the tab. It's up for grabs. Reason that I talk my talk and walk my walk. I'm pressing on towards the mark. Now let's have a little talk about whether or not we can accomplish a lot when he's calling the shots. All things are made possible to him who believes that you and me, we can do it because we got the keys. What you find and lose, heaven's gonna back you up. So devil better watch out, I'ma smack you up. Time to take the authority that Jesus gave. Do impossible things in Jesus' name. Impossible, now it's possible.
There. Wow. I need to
Good
say
job,
I'm
future
sitting here.
Ryan.
I need to say wow. What a time we're having. Go.
So yeah, Pastor André found me through a rap video that I did on Instagram, and we merged, and now I get to do and have fun doing raps here at the church, and the trailer rap that we did. This was after Pastor André actually put me in charge of rapping the trailer with a W, not with an R.
Like decal.
Yeah, we were trying to put decals
Yeah.
on the outside of the trailer. We wanted to wrap it. And so as a joke, I said, well, okay, I'll wrap the trailer. And I did a rap of the trailer. So that was fun. But they've asked me to do another rap for the Easter Fest.
The egg drop. Now,
so-
I'm going to give you I know I've given you some inspiration in the past, as in Pastor Heath bringing the master heat. There's some other lines. You have to reference egg drop soup in this rap if you haven't finished it already.
Well, actually, I thought it was finished, but I could always throw something in.
Yeah, I think egg drop soup needs to be mentioned. A shout out to egg drop soup, because we got the Thai place right there too.
That's true.
So, it could, rising tides raise all ships type deal.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, I could treat my rap songs and all my songs, just like George Lucas treats the Star Wars movies. They're never totally finished, So we can always go back and change one thing and add a little bit of CGI and change one line of one
Gonna go
dialogue.
back and add everything that happened in Jacksonville into the trailer rap.
Yeah, exactly.
Add the rap onto the trailer, because we filmed the music video for the trailer rap before we actually physically wrapped the trailer, so we could do that. Yeah.
So anyway, art is never finished. But Faith Church is a great place to be. It's a great family. If you're looking for connection, I think that's one thing that really sets our ministry apart from a lot of other places, is that we're not just a place where you come in, you hear a few songs, sing a few songs, listen to a message, say a prayer, and go home. No, this is a place where you can connect with people.
Yeah.
This is a place where there's family, there's a sense of camaraderie here. We're here, we're worshiping God, we're learning about God, we're learning who we are in Christ, and all of those things are absolutely vital to living the life that God wants you to live. I absolutely believe that. But on top of that, I also believe that we need to connect with other people. God himself said in the book of Genesis, it's not good for man to be alone. We need to connect with others. And so Faith Church is a great place for connection. And we have an awesome family here. It's been a great ride so far.
Yeah, you know what that makes me think about is there's something that Pastor André always says is we're not like a car wash service. A lot of times, I've been to a lot of different churches in the area because of course, anyone who's watching Good Morning Marco for the first time, I have grown up on Marco. I've lived there my entire life. I've gone to at least 5 different churches in the area.
Okay.
This is the only church I've ever been to that allows their service to go over an hour, and in fact encourages it. We're not here to tick a box, you know?
Right.
I feel like so many different churches are like that, and I don't want to name names, of course, but I think we actually have a community of people here who not only are willing to actually enter into the presence of God, but are also extremely willing to serve and are just, everybody's very happy to be here. We've created a culture of there's not many people who are like here because they're like, well, I suppose I need to go to church now.
Right.
It's everyone who comes here, even if maybe they might have entered in with that mentality, will, after a service or two, will definitely have that heart change of saying, it's like, well, this is real.
Yeah.
We're actually practicing what we preach, and we actually believe it when we speak it. So.
Yeah. Well,
good.
Church should never be like you just mentioned a moment ago. It's not a box that you check.
Right.
You know, it's a place for you to connect with God. It's a place for you to grow spiritually. It's a place for you to connect with other people. And it's a place for you to grow with people of like-minded faith who will encourage you and who will be there to support you when you go through bad things in life. Because let's face it, this earth is a place where people experience bad things. You know, there's sickness, there's loss, there's lack, there's depression, there are bad things. You know, Jesus said, you'll have tribulation in this world, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. So, you know, it's great to have a place that you can come and you can hear the Word of God preached. You can experience His presence. But also, you're not just here, like we just mentioned, you're not just here to check a box.
Right.
You're here because you want to experience an encounter with God. And that's what we try to do here is create an atmosphere where people can connect with God.
Absolutely.
Speaking of experience, I was just wondering, since you did talk about how you were at your own church previously, before even having your own, what kind of inspired you and kept you going with being a pastor?
Yeah, well, you know, I've been a Christian since I was 10 years old, and I went into the ministry when I was 18 years old. I'm 50 now, so we're coming up on 32 years that I've been in full-time ministry. And I knew from a very, very early age that God was real. I knew that I wanted my life to have a purpose, and that purpose was to serve Him. Because, you know, here's the thing. If God is real, which I believe He is.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I hope you do.
If God is real, then we owe it to Him and we owe it to ourselves to figure out who is He and what does He want. Because He must have had some design in His heart for creating the earth, for creating us. So what is that design? What is His purpose? And how do I fit into that purpose? How does my life fit into that purpose? And so I came to know God at a very young age. I was about 10 years old. And by the time I was a teenager, I'm in high school, I said, Lord, I know that I have a gift. I want to use my gift for you, and I'll do anything that you want me to do. And I just committed that I was going to serve the Lord with my whole life and every talent that He's given me. I was a musician. I knew that I was a musician of considerable talent, and I wanted to use my talent for the Lord. But I also told the Lord, I said, I'll do anything you want me to do, but I don't want to go to Bible college, and I don't want to be a church music director. And so a couple years later, I went to Bible college, And then I became a church music director. So
Look at that.
there's an old quote in the Jewish community that says, "Man makes his plans and God laughs."
Yeah.
So.
Same reason you don't pray for patience.
Yeah, exactly, because you'll get it. And there's only one way to learn patience, and that's by exercising it. But so I went into full-time ministry when I was 18 years old, and I was a church music director for 25 years, working for various churches around the country. I was in Ohio, I was in Indiana, Alabama, Texas. And eventually in 2012, I came to Florida, to Naples, and I was the worship pastor for New Hope Ministries on Davis Boulevard in Naples. I was there for 6 years. And then one day, the pastor of the church, he came into my office and he says, "Heath, you've got a great gifting. You're an awesome songwriter. You're a great worship leader, but there's gifts in you that are still untapped."
Right.
And he says, "I really feel like you need to be in the driver's seat. You need to be pastoring your own church." And so in fall of 2018, I branched out and I started my own church, Faith Life Worship Center. For about 2.5 years, we met in the same building where Bounce used to be on the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's where it was.
Yeah, we started
crazy.
there at
Okay.
the corner of Airport and Vanderbilt. We were there for about 2.5 years, and then that building got sold, and we found another building where we were sharing a building with another church over on 10th Street, about 4 blocks south of Coastland Mall, and we were there for about 3 years before we moved over here, and we have now merged with Faith Church. And the interesting thing about that merger is that, you know, here you had 2 great churches. We were over near Coastland Mall. They were here just north of Marco Island. And it's like we were strong where Faith Church was weak, and Faith Church was strong where Faith Life was weak.
100%.
And when we merged together, we just complemented each other's weaknesses very, very nicely, and we're stronger. We're better than the sum of our parts.
Yeah,
I'll say it that way.
I think you always put it best. You say it was really like a marriage of the
Yeah.
2 churches,
Yep.
and we completed the pieces of each other that were missing, and we've cleaved together and become one flesh. So
Yes, yes.
ran at each other as hard as we could. So
Just like a marriage.
Yeah. So honestly, as someone we refer to you guys as the former Faith Lifers. We'll refer to me as the former Faith Church onlyers.
Okay.
The amount of change that has happened in the past, what is it now, 8 months or so?
Yeah, about
It's which
8 or 9.
insane. It feels like it's been so much longer than
Yeah.
that. The amount of positive change that I've seen here since then has been just astronomical. Not to say that we were like struggling before, absolutely
Right.
not. But just like it's when a good thing gets better, everyone wins.
Yeah.
So a good thing got even better, and I'm very, very happy with every time that you send a new rap into the staff chat, whether it be about having to lock the door or happy anniversary to Pastor André and Jenny, or wrapping a trailer, or whatever else it may be. I'm like, one of the greatest things that's ever happened around here is that merger. So
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, it's like you were just saying, it's not that anything was wrong with what we were before. You know, my church, it was great. We had a wonderful church. We had a great facility. We had an awesome family atmosphere. We had good music. We had good preaching. We had great events, and we had good outreaches. And, you know, we were strong, and there was no drama in our church. And we were financially solvent. I mean, everything was great. There was nothing wrong. It's just I knew it could be better. And I knew that if we merged with this ministry, it would uncap some potential that we had.
Yeah.
And it's been a great it's been a great ride for everybody.
So I think we're talking a real lot about what the church is now, and I feel like this will be great for any of our people who are listening, and maybe just an interesting story for some others. But for someone who either living Marco, Naples, because that's 99% of the people who watch are from those two areas, because I mean, obviously, it's called Good Morning Marco. Wow. But for someone who maybe doesn't have a church home around here, or is not been to a church in general, or maybe just it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Easter's always a great time to start, of
Yep.
course, but it doesn't just end there. What would you say to someone who right now is maybe at home or in their car listening right now, at home, that hospital bed, that hotel room? It's a reference for everybody at home. What would you say to those people?
Well, I would say that faith is a lifestyle. And it's not just something that you pick up on Sunday morning and then set down on Sunday afternoon. It's a lifestyle. It's something that you live every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
366 on leap years.
366 every 4 years.
Yeah.
So, the Bible says the just shall live by faith.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we do should be done by
Yeah.
faith. We raise our kids by faith. We go to work by faith. We make money by faith. We conduct our marriages by faith. And so a part of that is being able to grow in your faith and feed your faith and learn how to operate in your faith. And how do you do that? By being in an environment with people of like faith. And so, the name of our church is Faith Church. We have a purpose of growing people in their faith and letting them understand what faith is, how faith works, and how to grow in it. And again, it's not something that you do on a Sunday morning and set it down on Sunday afternoon. It's a lifestyle. And so if it's going to be a lifestyle, then you need to find a place where you can connect with people and grow in your faith with other people. I don't just go to church on Sunday morning. I'm connecting with church people every single day of the week because I'm trying to grow in my own faith, and I'm trying to help people grow in their faith. So that's, there's a scripture in Hebrews that says, do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together. And I truly believe that if you're really going to fulfill your God-given purpose in life, and if you're going to fulfill your potential as a Christian, you can't just be a Christian who worships God from home. You have to assemble with other people. You need to connect with other people. It doesn't mean that you're not a Christian if you don't go to church. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is if you want to fulfill your potential and fulfill your purpose, then you need to find a place where you can connect and worship with other people.
As someone, I'm just going to admit, I haven't been to church in a couple years.
Okay.
And
Well, what are you doing Tuesday night at 7 p.m., Wednesday night at 6 p.m., Sunday morning at 10 a.m.? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. But so we're obviously recording this after one of y'all's broadcasts.
Uh-huh.
And I will say it was very, heartwarming to come in, and every single person who walked out as I was coming in was like, hi, how are you? You're new. How can I help you? What are you looking for? Who are you with? Oh my gosh. And it was super awesome. I definitely didn't feel as overwhelmed and anxious to kind of check it out.
Good.
I will say it's really cool. It gives kind of 70s talk show vibes in here.
So I'll show this after, but we have multicolored chairs. We have blue chairs, orange chairs, and red chairs. It's because of a thing that they do on NASCAR to make it look like there's a ton of people in the audience because you see all the different colors. But when it's only 3 colors, it doesn't necessarily work. It still looks cool, though. But
I've been in ministry for 31 years, almost 32 years. I don't think I've ever been to a sanctuary that had multicolored chairs like this.
Well, so see, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So, that it's a thing that they do in like broadcasts for sporting events and stuff like that. So Pastor André is like, well, if they're going to do it, we're going to do it. so that's the idea anyway. But
anyway, you were saying.
as you were. Sorry, Jordan.
No, you're good. I just got to get back on the train of thought. But I was just kind of wondering, I mean, since you guys do broadcast, is there a local channel that it's on?
We are on DirecTV. What channel are we on?
Channel 379.
379.
So, it's 379 on DirecTV.
Yep.
And then you can also watch online. Of course, we're live on YouTube. This is for the actual TV broadcast. We're live on the My Faith TV YouTube channel. And then our Sunday services, which are Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., which I feel like that is actually the first time that we said what time the regular church service is. I'll put that in the beginning as well. But it's 10 a.m. every Sunday. That is also, as long as there's not something else big going on elsewhere, we're also live on DirecTV, channel 379 for that, as well as the Faith Church Naples YouTube and Facebook channels. And we're also live on Instagram, too.
Yeah.
We do the broadcasts aren't generally open to the public. I mean, you can come in, but it's not an advertised event. The main thing that we've got going on here is we've got church on Sunday at 10 a.m., which is going to be around hour and a half, 2 hours, as we're done when we're done. And then we have School of Ministry on Tuesdays, which is 7 p.m.
School of Faith.
We changed the name like a year and a half ago, and I'm still not used to it. It's called School of Faith at 7 p.m. every Tuesday. That's a little bit more of, we don't have it as elevated as an experience as the Sunday service, because the Sundays are big celebration service. We've got the worship, praise and worship music to begin. We've got all the preaching. We just do message on Tuesday, which is great because we can get really into like the nitty gritty of everything.
Deeper teaching.
Yeah. Wednesdays is the next, which is youth and young adults. That starts at 6 p.m. for food and games, and then at 7 p.m. That's when we do word and also worship there as well. Yeah. Which we'll have to interview Eric at some time too. I don't know if Eric's in the back room right now. If he can shout yes if he is there. But either or. And then we've got what other stuff do we have going on for the rest of the year? Because I know we've got other events coming up.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Well, I mean, we always got something going on. You know, quarterly we have a car and bike show that we do here, Naples Cars, Bikes, and Coffee. Weekly we have a ladies' Bible study on Thursday mornings. Usually about once a month or so, the men will get together. We do a men's breakfast. And we have other outings, go to a baseball game, go to a hockey game, go to the shooting range. And I'm a licensed pilot. Sometimes I'll just grab a bunch of people and, hey, let's go hop in an airplane and go to lunch.
Yeah, and sometimes you get stuck at Page Field for 6 hours.
It happened one time. It happened one time.
What was
Let it go.
if you've got time to spare? If you got time to
If
spare.
you have time to spare, go by air.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So,
I
yeah.
think I did actually tell this story on the podcast before, but for anyone who hadn't heard, Pastor Heath calls me one afternoon and is like, do you want to fly with me to go get lunch tomorrow? I'm like, excuse me, to fly with you to go get lunch? It's like, yeah, we're going to go up to, originally it was going to be Sarasota, but time changed. So fly to Fort Myers. We went and got Skyline Chili. And then after Skyline Chili, we went and got each a dozen donuts at Krispy Kreme. And then there was a torrential downpour once we got back to the airport. But that was a fun time. That was great because that wasn't too long after the merger, right?
Yeah, no, it was just maybe a couple of months, I think, after we did the merger. And so here we were at Page Field, and I mean, right at the time that we were supposed to take off was when this huge weather system came in. And it came in early because I had looked at the forecast and I knew, what time the weather was going to arrive. And so we ended up staying at Page Field until the weather cleared up. And then I thought, okay, let me check the weather at Naples. Naples is clear, Page Field is clear, let's go. We jump in the airplane, we take off, and we're heading out of Page Field's airspace. I got right to the border of their airspace. Page Field calls me and says, you have permission to change your radio frequency to something else because you're not in my airspace anymore, so you don't need to talk with me. Frequency change approved. And I said, guys, we're going to have to stay with you because we got to come back. The weather in Naples had got socked in, so we turned right around.
Well, we had just gotten down from, it was 10 miles visibility down to 1 mile
Yes.
visibility.
Yeah.
So that was
10-mile visibility
scary.
down to 1 mile visibility. And so we turned around, went back to Page Field, waited another couple hours or whatever. And then when the weather cleared up, we took off and went back home to Naples.
Yeah.
And but that was a fun day. It was a memorable day.
Believe it or not, there were still donuts left by the end of the day. So, and also, for fans of the podcast, this was the same week that I got stuck on that island out when I was paddleboarding underneath the Jolly Bridge because I got stuck in a storm. I had very bad luck with weather that week because that was on Wednesday, I think, and then that was on like Saturday or
Yep.
Friday or something that we did that. That was very fun. That was a fun time.
Good stuff.
Let's see. So we've got a little bit more time here. I think it is time. So we got to know Faith Church pretty well. We got to know a little bit of the story about your involvement as well. Let's do some rapid fire questions to get to know a little bit more about you.
Okay.
And Jordan, I'll let you lead this.
Shoot.
Our infamous question.
Our infamous question. We
Our
ask everybody.
infamous question.
It's not just famous, it's infamous.
Coffee or tea?
Can I say Mountain Dew?
You are the first person ever answered like that, and I will accept it for
Okay.
that purpose only.
I'm not a
But-
coffee person or a tea person.
Really?
I mean, the closest I will get to tea is I'll do an Arnold Palmer,
Well, there you
you
go.
know, with some lemonade and sweet tea. I'll do that. But yeah, I'm not a tea person, not a coffee person, but I love me a good Mountain Dew. That's
Yeah.
where I get my caffeine.
You struck me as a Baja Blast gentleman.
Just a plain old Mountain Dew. I'm fine with that. I wish we could find Mountain Dew made with sugar again instead of high
Well,
fructose
you know,
corn syrup.
you never know. If RFK might have some things to say about that.
Yeah,
Some-
it could be. but
hopefully,
when-
make
when
America
they-
healthy again by giving us
by
real
giving 'em
cane sugar.
instead. Yeah.
Yahoo!
But yeah, when they had Mountain Dew Throwback a few years ago, man,
that?
it was Mountain Dew made with sugar.
Oh, wow.
They
Okay.
called it Mountain Dew.
I know they had Coke Life, which Coke Life had real cane sugar and stevia in it. And that was good.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to that. And it had a green can. Those were good. It was so much better than Diet Coke, Coke Zero, and like regular.
Now, you can go to Publix and you can get Pepsi Real Sugar. You can get that, but they have not reintroduced Mountain Dew Throwback since COVID. So,
Everything.
and I'm sad.
Yeah. Do you have others?
Oh, I thought we were gonna rotate.
I need to pull up my list. I forgot every question we ever ask anybody. Beach or mountains?
That's a good question. You know, and here's another thing. I don't spend a whole lot of time outdoors, to be honest with you. I got very fair skin. I burn easily. I like the mountains. I like the beach. I don't know if I had to choose one or the other. I guess I'll say it this way. I'm not a huge fan of hot weather.
Yeah.
So
Why are we here?
I was just about to
why
ask.
do I live in Southwest Florida?
There's a calling.
That's really what it is. You know, I grew up in Michigan, and so I mean, there they have a thing called seasons. We don't have those in Florida.
We have a 4 seasons.
We have 2 seasons. We have hot and warm. So, so I guess probably just from a temperature perspective, I'd probably prefer the mountains. You know, because you get up, you know, a little higher in the mountains, and the air's nice and dry, and the breeze, and yeah, that's comfortable for me. So,
Cool.
If you could swap lives with a celebrity for a day, who would you choose?
Swap lives with a celebrity. Wow. Well, I guess the first celebrity that pops into my mind, because I'm a pilot, is Tom Cruise. Because he owns some airplanes that I would love to fly. So he's got a P-51 Mustang. I've always wanted to fly one of those.
Nice.
He has an L-39 Albatross, which is it's a Eastern Bloc jet fighter trainer. And he owns one, so I think I'd like to fly that as well. So I suppose if I'm going to swap lives with somebody, I may as well swap it with a guy who owns a lot of really cool airplanes. Either that or Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah.
Because he's also a pilot and owns a lot of
Yeah,
airplanes.
I've seen. I think that he did something with Jay Leno, because I know Jay Leno's got all the classic cars.
Yeah.
And I think they did some video together where they were showing off their cars and their planes. I was like, oh, man.
And I'm a car guy too, so I mean, I wouldn't mind spending a day in Jay Leno's shoes either. So, a couple of years ago, I got a muscle car. I got a Dodge Charger Daytona, Scat Pack Daytona 392. So, I like cars, and I like motorcycles. I got a Harley. So,
Cars, bikes, and coffee. Is there? I don't
Cars,
know.
bikes,
I don't know
coffee.
when the next one is going to be.
For me, it'd be cars, bikes, motorcycles, and airplanes.
Yeah. I don't think we have enough room in the parking lot to be able to put any planes out there.
There is probably one or two airplanes that I've ever flown that I could probably get in and out of this parking lot.
Okay.
But
Well, talk to Eric. Maybe we can.
it doesn't mean I would,
Oh, okay.
but I probably would.
In a pinch, in a Sully Sullenberger type situation,
Yes.
where it's either the trees or the Faith Church Naples parking lot.
Now, the cool thing about flying over this area, if you fly over Faith Church, it actually says on the roof, Jesus loves you.
Yes.
So-
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
Who did that? Who's
I
that?
thought it was Jordan.
I don't think it was.
Other Jordan.
No, other Jordan. Who's referenced a lot on this podcast. I'll have to ask around, and it's going to flash on screen. I have like a whole month to edit this, so it's okay. It's going to flash on screen right now. Who did it?
Well, I was going to say, can you see it from like Google Earth, Google Maps?
I don't
Not
think
from
you
that
can yet.
far.
I don't think you can. I don't think they've retaken the photo.
I think I took a picture of it when I flew over it one day.
I did when we flew over it.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
But also we have a. Oh yeah, you can see it.
You can see it.
You can see it. You can in fact see it. It's sort of covered by the little
Like
nub that
tag,
says
yeah.
Faith Church, but you can in fact see it. There, look at that.
Yep, you sure can.
Yeah.
And drum roll, please.
And
Ryan will
here-
edit that
No,
in.
no, camera one. Cut camera one. Can we see it? Can we see it?
There's no way anyone can read
Okay,
No, I'm
that.
sure
I
they
just got a
can. It'll
message
be
from
okay.
Faith Hofer who says John Strathman wrote it.
Got it. All right, cool. Thank you, Faith. Appreciation to the highest form of degree. Where are you? She's probably in the kids unit. Yeah, no, that's great. I love that we can see that. Let's see. So, other rapid fire questions. That was such a rapid question that we had just now. Let's see. What's the weirdest job that you've ever had?
The weirdest job that I ever had? I don't think I've ever had any weird jobs.
So then let's say outside of like pastoring, what would be the most interesting job that you've had?
Well, I delivered pizzas. I worked in a Mexican restaurant as a busboy. My first job was I was a paper boy, which for those of you who were born after the year 2000, a paper is a thing that people used to read, which now everyone reads their news online. But I used to deliver newspapers. I worked for an airport part-time for a while, refueling airplanes. And one of the things that was cool about that job is the airport that I worked at was really close to the Talladega Superspeedway. And we used to get NASCAR racers that would come in and out of the airport. I got to meet a lot of famous NASCAR racers. And I do remember one day at the airport, I came this close to seeing an airplane crash land on the runway with his gear up. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. There was an airplane. He was taking off, and he got to about 75 feet high, right about the top of the tree level. And he had already started folding his gear up, bringing it was retractable gear, bringing his landing gear up. And in the middle of bringing the landing gear up, the engine quit.
Oh, goodness.
And it turned out the reason that it quit was he accidentally had the fuel selector set on an empty tank. And so he managed to flip it back to a full tank, and the engine fired and started back up. When I first told this story, I told somebody, I said, I think he was about 10 or 12 feet high when it fired up, but it turned out somebody caught it on tape. He was actually about 4 to 5 feet off of the ground when the engine fired back up, and he took off and never hit the ground.
That's
That's
a little bit more than luck.
Yeah, it was that close. So,
That's me.
but yeah, nothing super out of the ordinary.
Well, I don't know. That
yeah.
kind of seems like.
Yeah, but that was a cool job.
Okay. What is your go-to karaoke song?
One song that I really like doing karaoke with, I've done this a few times with my daughter, is You're the One That I Want from Grease. My daughter will sing Olivia Newton-John's part, and I'll sing John Travolta's part. So we've done that several times for different karaoke events. So I would call that probably my go-to. I'm not much of a karaoke by myself guy.
Right. Well, you are also the first person that we've interviewed that actually has I was going to say that has a music career, but reigns. But has one where their voice is included in the, in the music career, and that's actually the main portion of it. So I don't meet a lot of people who are serious about music that actually do karaoke unless they're hosting it.
And I think part of that is, when you're a musician for a living, music is a job.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I love flying, and I will talk with my dad and my brother about flying because my dad is a retired corporate pilot.
Yeah.
My brother's an airline captain, and I love talking about flying. They never want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because to them, they're talking about work.
Yeah.
And they want to talk with me about music, and to me, it's like I'm talking about my job. You know? That's not to say I don't love music, but it is a career. It's like you're talking about work.
As long as you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's
which
true.
I still think that's a lie because I love what I do and I work a lot. So.
Yeah, you probably put in more hours than most of the people that I know.
Yeah.
You're a pretty hard worker.
Yeah. And not only with this, but then with this as well, too. Because this turns into a second job after a short amount of time. Which, thanks to Pistol, I don't have to edit this episode. Pistol, go ahead and put SCR on and wave if you want. You don't have to. Okay, he doesn't want to. I'll find a very embarrassing photo of Pistol to put in afterwards, so that doesn't get out of this that easily.
Well, since we were on the subject of music, I was gonna say when your rap album comes out, I hope you win Grammys and stuff.
I did win a rap battle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny event. There was a guy he was a youth pastor in Fort Lauderdale, and he came across one of my videos that had gone viral, and he said, "Hey, we do these youth rallies once a month at our church," and he said hundreds of kids will show up for this thing. I was wondering if you wanted to come to our church and do a rap battle. And he said, you're going to be going against two younger guys, and we would love for you to be the third guy in the rap battle.
Didn't you pose as somebody who had no idea what they were doing?
That was the whole idea. Because I told him, I said, look, if we're going to do this, I said, I am under no delusion whatsoever. I realize I'm a 50-year-old white guy, okay? I mean, I'm just as good at dad jokes as I am at rapping. So,
Which, I mean, that's half of it.
yeah. So I said, do you want me to play into that? Play into this old white guy that doesn't know what he's doing? And they said, oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
The old fuddy-duddy there.
Yeah. So I got up there on the stage and I'm holding the mic with two hands and I'm acting like I'm super nervous and everything. And then they dropped the track and I dropped the bars and the place came apart. There was like 600 or 700 kids there and the place just was absolutely electric. So, but that was after going, you know, I'm rapping behind two guys that were young and looked the part, you know. You know, I didn't look the part. I'm dressed in like, you know, a Walmart shirt, you know? So, yeah.
Hey, oh, wait, no, I was going to say, I thought that I was in my Walmart shirt right now. I'm in my Forever 21 shirt.
You got a little corduroy thing going on.
I know, yeah, no, this didn't fit me a few months ago.
So congratulations
thank
on
you.
that.
You know, Ryan, my shirt that I'm wearing right now is also from Forever 21.
Is it? All right, cool. I got this on Black Friday 2 years ago, and I didn't check to see if it fit. So I was like, oh. I never took the time to take it back because I think it was, yeah, no, it wasn't Forever 21, which they're going out of business now. So.
What?
Yeah, no, everything's on sale. It's probably past the time that this episode comes out, they'll be gone, but
That's crazy.
everything's on sale. Like everything must go like 60% off. Get it
Wow.
out the door. So, yeah, fill up the wardrobe.
I'm moving soon. I don't need to fill up the wardrobe.
I need to get rid of my my big clothes now. Anyway, I believe we're just about ready to wrap up here. Huh,
Wrap up.
Is there anything? Well, Jordan, before I pitch to him to say if he wants to say anything else, do you have any other questions?
I was gonna say, I just came up with like what I think would be a good question.
Okay, go ahead.
So I know for boats, you name boats and stuff. Do you name planes? Does your plane have a name?
Well, I actually don't own my own plane. All the planes that I fly are rentals. So
You give him nicknames.
I will say this. Years ago, there was a character that I created that I did for a children's ministry event in Alabama. And my character was the great-great-great-grandson of the Red Baron.
Yeah, I remember you told me about this.
And so he flew for the Alabama Air Force, and he was not called the Red Baron, he was called the Crimson Baron, because Alabama is
Roll Tide.
Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. And so in that character, my airplane had a name, and it was called Old Red. But the airplane wasn't red. It was blue and white. So, but my character named the plane after his dog. His dog's name was Old Red, and his dog was not red either. The dog was a black lab. So, yes, I would assume that if I ever own my own airplane, I'll probably name it Old Red, no matter what the color of it is.
That's great.
So in honor of the Crimson Baron. So.
That reminds me of the Blake Shelton song.
But I know.
Old Red.
Oh, all I know is I saw the light, I've been baptized. That one. That's the
No,
only
it's like
Blake
an
Shelton
older
song I
one,
know.
but it's like
It's God's Country,
this.
I think it's called.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is the Blake.
Anyway, with that, do you have anything else that you
No, that was
want
my
to
silly
mention?
little
Cool.
question.
That is perfect. Let's see, Pastor Heath. Before we let you go today, is there anything else that that you see pertinent that we need to discuss on this podcast before we let you go and do else? What we all have to do for the rest of today?
Yeah, I would
Corned
like
beef
to
and
ask
cabbage.
you, tea or coffee?
Okay, well, I am a coffee drinker through and through.
Okay.
I do love some types of tea. I've only really started drinking tea over the past 2 years since Kava opened on Marco, because they have phenomenal teas there. But I will not seldom go a day without drinking coffee.
Okay.
I did go a full week without drinking coffee once to make sure that I'm not like it's not detrimental to my health. And I was fine. So I'm like, okay, I guess I could keep doing whatever I want then. So it's like, I don't have a problem. I'm totally fine.
And beach or mountain?
Beaches or mountains, let's see. Well, I have lived on Marco my entire life, as we know. I absolutely adore the mountains because it's a change of scenery.
I've come to the conclusion everybody wants what they don't have.
Yeah.
So, like when I came to Florida, my first season here in Florida, winter season, I had friends up in Ohio that literally were in the middle of a blizzard, and they had lost power. They were cooking hot dogs on their fireplace, because everything had shut down. And they were all complaining, it's too cold and we got so much snow. And I'm thinking, wow, today I rode my motorcycle in my t-shirt and now I'm hanging out at the pool. And I really would love to be in that blizzard right now, I think we always want what we don't have. So, if you're if you live near a beach, you want to be by the mountains. If you live in the south, you want to experience snow. And if you live up north, you want to experience the heat.
I still haven't seen snow.
You've never seen snow?
I've never seen snow. I've never left the country. I've never.
Ryan Sullivan has not lived.
The boy who has not lived.
Never seen snow.
Yeah. The boy who has not lived. That's my new nickname.
Boy who has not lived at gmail.com.
No, it's Ryan at ryanmsullivan.com. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Let's see. I believe that just about wraps everything up for today.
Well, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. You can say the magic words. Official.
She's like, what are the magic words?
I was getting ready to do it, but I was so confused. I was like, because the last couple times I've been the one to remember to do it.
You've jumped the gun on me doing it, and you've
No, this time you jumped the gun on me and I got scared.
Go ahead. Okay, and then I'll just let you do as you do.
No, you should do it.
Okay. Official friend of the podcast. We'd love to have you back sometime. We'll have we're thinking about doing something for the 1 year mark. So we'll see. And then we'll have to have some other people from here on as well. So very, very happy to have you on the podcast. Make sure everybody come out Easter Sunday. We'd love to have you here. Easter Fest 2025. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming after that. So if you miss Easter, there's always the next Sunday and 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 the next Sunday. We have not ever canceled a Sunday service here, rain or shine. Even during Hurricane Ian, we still had service. We did not have power, but we had service. There was power, just not electricity. So, Pastor Heath, first go ahead and shout out some of the church social media site, and then you can let them know where they can find you.
Okay, so to find Faith Church online, you can go to faithchurchnaples.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. Just look up Faith Church Naples. And then our physical address, 6070 Collier Boulevard here in Naples. That's on Collier, just south of 41 on your way down to Marco Island. We're in the old outlet mall that never really took off. But we're here in the northernmost building on the property. And then to find me, you can go to YouTube and look up Pastor Heath Jarvis on YouTube. And you can also find my website, heathjarvis.com. That's Heath like the candy bar, Heath. It's not Keith. It's not Pete. It's not Steve. It's not anything else with a long E sound. But I blame my mother for giving me a name that is not very common. And so every time I've ever said my name for the past 50 years, people have gotten it wrong. So I blame my mother. But heathjarvis.com, you can find me online. You can go to Facebook, Pastor Heath Jarvis, Instagram, Pastor Heath Jarvis, YouTube, Pastor Heath Jarvis.
This episode of Good Morning Marco is brought to you by Tyler Buchan of the Golf Group. Located right here on Marco Island, they're your go-to experts for luxury living on Marco Island and beyond. Whether you're looking for a waterfront home with golf access, a condo with stunning beach views, or a private retreat down on Hideaway Beach, Tyler and his team will guide you to your home. Visit thegolfgroup.com to start your search today, or call 239-420-1099. Once again, that number is 239-420-1099. Go to thegolfgroup.com to find out more. Thank you so much to Tyler and his team for sponsoring this episode of Good Morning Marco.
Jordan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, JGKraley03. You can find my work Instagram, Current Creations FL. And coming up in June, on June 7th, is going to be our new Remember Paradise event happening. So keep that in your little noggins, clear the day off. And you can also find information on that coming up on Remember Paradise on Instagram and Facebook. Ryan, where can they find you?
You can find me at my house. Don't go there. But you can also find me online at RyanMSullivan.com. I had to make it RyanMSullivan.com because my mom gave me a very common name. So Ryan Sullivan, there's like 3 in Naples apparently. So RyanMSullivan.com. You can also find me on Instagram. That's Real Ryan Sullivan. That's RealRyanSullivan. I love that it kind of rhymes a little bit. So you can find me there. You can find my my socials. You can find links to this podcast, to my own podcast. You can also find a link to find my book on Amazon as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. And then also make sure you go to goodmorningmarco.com. Goodmorningmarco.com. You can buy merch on the website. You can also listen to the podcast. Make sure that you listen on Spotify, listen on Apple, listen on Amazon, all those places. Rate the podcast 5 stars and subscribe to Good Morning Marco Pod on YouTube. It really helps us in the algorithms when you subscribe and when you rate the podcast 5 stars. As well, follow Good Morning Marco Pod on all social media platforms except X. I don't think we have an X. That's fine. We even have a Nextdoor, so come and join us on Nextdoor. It gets a little spicy on there every once in a while. So with that.
Yes, stay tuned for the merch, guys. We have some super awesome summer things coming up.
Ooh.
So super exciting.
Very exciting. And with that, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean the most, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye. And pistol go wide. Bye.